Most young people face a significant financial hurdle these days, and that's buying your own dang home. You see, folks, owning a home has become out of reach for many, and even renting is a challenge for some at this point. The rising property prices, thanks to higher interest rates, make it tough for both buyers and renters to find affordable options. Recent real estate data shows that homes are unaffordable for the median American in 99% of counties analyzed. Now, because of this, many Americans are hoping for a market correction to bring prices down. But that's not going to happen. This is exactly what we'll be talking about today. We'll be covering why a real estate crash won't make homes affordable, so make sure to stay until the end of the video to learn all about it. Hello, and welcome back to Tides of Wealth, where you're just one sale away from financial freedom. Now let's dive in. High housing prices create difficulties for buyers, renters, and even homeowners looking to sell and buy again. For those fortunate enough to own a home, selling at a high price may seem like a win, but purchasing another home at similarly high prices offsets any gains. On top of that, property taxes tend to rise with property values, and selling a home may result in capital gains taxes. Overall, the current housing market poses challenges for many Americans, with affordability being a major concern for both buyers and renters. First, let's talk about why prices are rising like crazy. It's quite simple, really. Private equity firms. You see, folks, a growing number of homes are being bought by large corporations. These corporations, often referred to as private equity firms, purchase single-family houses in bulk. They then either sell these properties at inflated prices or convert them into rental units, driving up housing costs and making it harder for families to own homes. This trend not only undermines the stability of communities, but also limits individuals' ability to build equity and financial security. As a result, some families may find themselves facing difficult living situations or find themselves being forced to move frequently due to rising rents. Now, why is this bad even for homeowners? Folks, most homes in America are selling for more than the IRS's Section 121 exemption of $250,000 in profit after the purchase. This means that if you sell your home for a significant profit, you may end up owing taxes on that gain. The only real winner in this scenario is the government, as you may find yourself with limited options once you've paid your dues. Those who benefit most from rising property prices tend to be those who own multiple properties, not just their primary residence. By the way, if you're enjoying the video, please hit the subscribe button to stay updated with more awesome content like this. Now, hoping for a housing market crash to bring prices down might not be the solution. Here's why. Firstly, if you're not financially ready to buy a home now, a crash could set you back even further. While some lenders offer low down payment options, there are likely other financial factors preventing you from buying. Even if prices dropped significantly, you'd still need a mortgage unless they plummeted by an improbable 97%. And getting a mortgage just becomes more difficult after a crash. During the housing collapse of 2008, average house prices fell by just 20%, which was considered the worst in history. So if you can't afford to buy now, it's unlikely that a crash would suddenly make it feasible without a mortgage. And that's where it gets tricky. You see, while 37% of people can't buy a home because of a lack of savings or a down payment, a larger group of 42% says that they have difficulties due to lender requirements. Lenders typically assess three key factors when considering mortgage applications: the size of the down payment, creditworthiness, and ability to make payments. These criteria are determined by the bank's risk departments and kept confidential. Unfortunately, these rules tend to be risk-averse, leading to mortgage application rejections even if the proposed payment is lower than the current rent that you are paying. Income sources are treated differently by lenders as well, with full-time employment and business owners often favored over part-time or freelance work. Similarly, expenses such as student loans or dependent care affect eligibility differently. The complexity of these rules means that qualifying for a mortgage can be confusing. After the 2008 housing crash, lenders became more cautious about who they lend to, making it even harder for some to qualify for loans. Despite lower prices and increased listings post-crash, the number of home sales actually decreased quite a lot. Understanding these complexities is essential, as hoping for a housing crash to make homeownership more accessible may not yield the desired results. The topic of a real estate crash is highly popular on YouTube finance channels, with videos warning of an impending collapse gaining hundreds of thousands of views. Many viewers see it as a potential opportunity to finally afford a home, especially considering the investment potential discussed by some influencers. To consider the possibility of buying real estate after a crash, we need to understand the challenges involved. For house prices to drop significantly, several factors must come into play. One scenario is a widespread loss of purchasing power among buyers due to factors like mass unemployment or banks tightening lending standards. Currently, unemployment rates are relatively low, and banks are still lending, making it difficult for hopeful buyers to capitalize on lower prices unless they have substantial cash reserves. Oh, and during past crises, like the subprime mortgage crisis of 2008, reports from institutions like Morgan Stanley highlighted a shift towards renting as a result of limited mortgage credit and increased evictions. This means that while buying opportunities existed for institutional investors or high net worth individuals, regular Americans faced challenges accessing loans and often turned to renting. On the other hand, buying property post-crash may not guarantee easy access to affordable homes, as rental markets could be competitive, driving up prices for tenants. This leads us to the second reason housing won't become affordable. Currently, existing home sales in America are reaching levels not seen since the 1980s, despite the population being much larger now. Many homeowners with low-interest mortgages are reluctant to sell, as buying a new home would mean paying significantly higher monthly costs for the same living space. A report by the Wall Street Journal revealed that even those needing to move cities were opting to rent out their homes rather than sell, as they could maintain their low mortgage rates and charge high rental prices. Given these circumstances, there needs to be more incentive for existing homeowners to sell, leading to a limited supply of homes for sale. Not only that, but tighter lending standards mean most homeowners can comfortably afford their mortgages, reducing the likelihood of a flood of foreclosures as seen in the lead-up to the 2008 crisis. So this means that there are less homes on the market right now, which in turn means that prices are not about to go down anytime soon. Considering these factors, simply building more homes emerges as a potential solution to address housing affordability issues. The Department of Housing and Urban Planning states that America is constructing fewer homes than when the population was half its current size. This decline is attributed to various factors like zoning regulations, NIMBYism, and local building codes, which all contribute to slower and costlier construction processes. A report by The Atlantic highlights that nearly half the expenses incurred in building a new home stem from adhering to local rules and preferences rather than just the cost of materials and labor. Another significant reason why there's a lack of new home construction is the high cost of land. Real estate developers need to buy land, build homes, and sell them for a profit. However, with land prices so high, developers can only afford so much land to build on. In the past, most of the profit in home building came from the construction itself, but now it's mainly from the land. Even if a builder completes a house on time and within budget, they risk losing money if the market shifts slightly against them. Developers typically finance construction projects with expensive development loans due to high interest rates. As a result, it's often safer for developers to renovate and flip existing homes rather than build new ones. This approach allows them to complete projects faster and avoid dealing with as much bureaucratic red tape. A collapse in real estate values could further deter construction because developers wouldn't want to hold on to land when prices are falling. Looking at the data from the Department of Housing and Urban Development, it's evident that drops in new construction often coincide with decreases in home prices. This trend contributes to the challenge of millions, especially young people, being unable to afford homes, a significant issue not only in America, but also in many other parts of the world. However, waiting for a crash in the housing market to solve affordability problems may lead to disappointment. Over the past 400 years, real estate ownership has transitioned from being exclusive to elite nobles to being something that's accessible to the average family. But now, it's become increasingly expensive, primarily affordable only to elite landlords. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video on why a real estate crash won't make homes affordable. Let us know in the comments below whether you think a housing crash will solve this affordability crisis or not, and let us know if we missed anything. See you soon.